Hello YouTube and welcome back to my channel. My name is Robert. I am a 22-year-old rental arbitrage operator. I manage and operate 9 Airbnb rental properties, and as you all know, the current state of the global situation that we're facing, it's kind of led to this venture and this idea built around travel and the hospitality industry, just accommodation as a whole. It's kind of led to it being a very stressful time for many people around the globe, and I've been watching everything very carefully. I've been reading a lot of articles. I've just been really staying on top of everything and watching it develop, watching it play out. I haven't really been actively posting and sharing my side of the story with you all here because I'm going to be completely honest, I'm dealing with this. I'm experiencing this the same way you are right now. I don't have any secret information that may be helping me out versus what everyone else has readily available at their disposal. So I've kind of just been keeping my mouth shut, watching this develop. Obviously I have been proactive in many ways, and I've made a few videos on things that I've done to adapt and the current pricing strategy that I'm doing, just the current strategy moving forward. That so far nothing's really changed from that, and I'm proud to say that I have maintained my break-even costs throughout this whole time. So all of my properties, give or take collectively, bunched together, we're breaking even, and that is just, it's a good thing. It's a positive sign for me. I know there's a lot of government relief programs right now. I personally haven't looked into those at all. I'm just doing my part and doing as much as I can to ensure that I stay afloat and I stay alive, because it's all about surviving the hard times. And I know everyone is dealing with this all at once, and for that reason, I'm going to be sharing this new piece of information that just surfaced the past few days, which I think is going to be important to the direction that everyone is headed, through this whole pandemic. And it's going to be very important that everyone is aware of this, and therefore I will be making this little update video. So Airbnb just announced that they are announcing this new cleaning protocol for their hosts. On top of everything that's been going on, this is going to be just something else that we have to face as hosts. Unfortunately, I know Airbnb is under a lot of pressure right now. They've made the decisions that that benefits them as a company, as a software, but doesn't necessarily benefit the community or the hosts who make up this community. So this is all out of our control. I know that we could try to have a voice here, but ultimately we're the ones choosing to leverage Airbnb's platform, and we're the ones choosing to be a part of this. And because of that, I will go through 5 things that I have been doing kind of without even looking at the bigger picture. I've kind of just been doing these myself, and I've communicated this with the cleaning team, the cleaners for the properties, to be doing proactively. As soon as this came out, I did a little sweep through my properties as they were being turned over, and I was just running through any possible scenario, any possible problem that could come up. And it is very alarming that the cleaners who do these turnovers, they're the forefront of this battle that's going on between the disease and the human, right? They're the ones in there cleaning, they're making sure everything's done properly. And therefore I wanted to kind of go through possible scenarios, and obviously their best interest is in mind. And at any moment, if the cleaners were to decide that it was no longer safe for them to be in these properties cleaning, then so be it. That would be the next thing I had to deal with here. Essentially what we're dealing with here as hosts are 2 different variations of their new enhanced cleaning protocol, and one of them is a 24-hour wait period in between bookings as part of their cleaning protocol initiative. So if you take part in this and if you enroll in this option, then you'll have to go through their certain amount of steps, and I'm sure there's going to be some sort of manual confirmation that you've done certain amount of things to be a part of this. And this is just to ensure the safety of the guests. I understand exactly where they're coming from, and I think it's important that everyone stays safe in this time. I do see where they're coming from with this, and I see it as the same thing as that decision that they ultimately made to refund the guests. It's one of those things that I personally have no control over, and therefore I'm not going to sit here and talk bad about Airbnb or wish poorly upon anyone involved in making these decisions. I understand that they're just doing their part, and Once again, I chose to be a part of their platform. I chose to be on their platform with my properties, and that is that. So between the 24-hour waiting period, we have another alternative where it says those who do not enroll in the cleaning protocol certification program for some reason can, or they're not willing to, they can instead adopt a feature called booking buffer, which would automatically block reservations for 72 hours between guests. And the main point here, like a really important little sentence here, is a representative for Airbnb was not immediately available to confirm if hosts would be able to opt in or opt out of both programs. I'm going to be completely honest, and I'm going to dive into my calendar and show you what exactly my calendar looks like during this time, so you get an understanding that this is only in place while the pandemic lasts. So while everyone is going through this quote-unquote uncertain time together, I've negotiated my leases down. I'm paying a lot less for my leases during this time, so I'm able to afford a lower operating cost, and I was able to bring down my operating costs significantly with my leases, which is amazing, and I've been able to maintain break even. So for me, it's just a matter of revenue management and managing my numbers. Now, I know everyone is dealing with this differently depending on where they're at, and depending on what market they're in, depending on the city regulations regarding this whole pandemic. This is one of those decisions that it comes down to making the right one. And I'm going to go into my Airbnb calendar here and show you why one or the other won't really make that big of a difference in this time. And the reason being is because bookings are a lot more scarce. Now, this is all going to be okay once this whole pandemic is over. So I'm assuming that this is not going to be something that they carry into, let's say, in 2021 when things go back to somewhat normal. I think this right here is going to be something that they're only enforcing during this very uncertain time, like I said before. So if you want to go to the April calendars, we'll see that some of these units already have a couple of days in between bookings and checkout. So right now, if their protocol was in place, as you can see, right away, none of my bookings right now would necessarily be affected because bookings have slowed down significantly. And the most important thing we can do right now as hosts is reduce our costs. If in any way possible, negotiate, be ruthless, go in there and reduce the costs as much as possible. So this is 6 of the properties on one of my accounts, and I'm just using this as an example. So over here, clearly we have these 2 long-term bookings that are taken care of. We don't have to worry about that, and I encourage you to do long-term bookings if possible. So over here, let's say for this property, we have more than 3 days available prior to the booking, and as you see here, 3 days, there's a 3-day gap. Here there's a 4-day gap. Same here, there's a 3-day gap. So initially, guests aren't booking as often, and therefore you're able to afford that 3-day leniency, or like 72-hour time period between turnovers, and won't necessarily affect your revenue completely. It's something you have to adapt to, and I encourage you all to stay safe and do as much as you can proactively to take care of this. I'm going to go through these 5 things that I've been doing really quickly that I've instructed my team to do, and we've been in communications with the cleaners from day one, and they're all using PPE. They're all using proper PPE. They're all using gloves and masks when they're in the properties cleaning, and we made sure that this is something that they did from the very beginning, just because I felt that that they're at the forefront of our operation, and they're the ones dealing with this directly, and they're the ones at risk for being exposed to something like this. So I wanted to make sure that they're taken care of. They're doing their part, they're being proactive to wear all the proper necessary N95 masks and gloves. We asked them to use disposable cleaning supplies, not reusable rags, that type of thing. So they're using Clorox wipes. These are all approved by the CDC and all the regulatory health agencies, that sort of thing. So they're not using as many reusable cloths and stuff to clean surfaces. And this is just temporary. I know it's not the most cost-friendly approach. So the third thing we're doing is we're making sure we're using all health agency approved cleaning products like Clorox, Lysol, and proper alcohols that are not going to potentially not kill the virus or not kill any bacteria. That's very important right there. That's something that you can do in this time. And we also directed our housekeeping team to clean any dirty surfaces using a detergent or soap and water. So they're being very diligent with cleaning all the surfaces, wiping everything down. There's just an extra step that is typically not in our standard operating protocol with cleaning, but now we're doing this with disinfectant kind of on every hard surface that is in the property. And last but not least, we ask that our housekeepers remove and replace all linens, regardless of if it looks dirty or not. We're having them remove and clean all linens. So we already have disposable shampoo, conditioner, body wash, that type of thing, and we're just asking that they replace these things, even if they're not used during the stay. We're making sure that everything is turned over and properly done, and that way we're doing our part as the host, and we're taking care of the guests in the sense, and we're making sure that everyone gets out of this thing alive and well. So guys, thank you so much for staying tuned. Leave any questions down below. Leave any comments for future videos you'd like to see regarding this whole thing. Like I said, I've chosen to take a step back, and I'm handling this just the same way you are. At the same time, I understand we're dealing with a pandemic for the first time together. I've never been through a pandemic before, therefore I can't really speak on it, and I'm just gonna sit here with you. We're gonna get through this together. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns, and I will see you in the next video.